The Agenda in the Summer with Nam Kiwanuka is made possible through generous philanthropic contributions from viewers like you. Thank you for supporting TVO's journalism.
Summer music festivals are back. So to celebrate all this July, the Agenda in the Summer revisits conversations with a diverse cast of musicians and music experts. Tonight, Great Big C's Séan McCann and Andrea Aragon from 2020. Great Big C was known as Canada's party band, and while they brought the party to Canadians, founding member Séan McCann was struggling. We find out why in his new book, One Good Reason, a memoir of addiction and recovery, music and love. It's co-written with his wife, Andrea Aragon, who also joins us with Séan McCann from just outside of Ottawa in Manotick. Thank you so much for joining us under these conditions. It's nice to meet you.
Thanks so much, Nam.
It's lovely to talk to someone who's not our kids.
Same. Having adult interaction is awesome in this time. This book is you release a lot of you reveal a lot of yourselves, both of you. I want to get into the book, but before I want to go way back, and here is a clip of Great Big C way back when.
And I say, well, hey, it's just an ordinary day, and it's all your state of mind. At the end of the day, you just got to say, I say, well, hey, it's just an ordinary day, and it's all your state of mind.
Séan, when you watched that video, what do you think of that time?
There were good times in many ways, and also, stressful times for me in other ways. I was an alcoholic in Canada's favorite party band, and I was hiding from a secret. And, but it wasn't all bad. When I look back at that, the first thing I had to do was laugh, because I remembered that the rugby teams were actually real rugby teams. And they in their minds, they didn't, they thought they were actually playing a real rugby game, or they were determined to actually play. And I remember just trying not to get hurt. And,
how many takes did it take?
We were good for about 4 takes. They just didn't seem to want to stop pounding on each other, though. It was an interesting day. And then we all went to the pub, which was even more dangerous than the field in many ways. But I guess that's kind of how my life was then. It was a very, in retrospect, a dangerous place. But, it was a great place. As an alcoholic, I felt like I'd won the lottery to be in that position.
That's an interesting statement to make. What do you mean when you say that you felt like you had won the lottery? Like being in a band, or being in a situation where it kind of covered up your something that you were struggling with?
Both, I guess. But being in particular, Great Big C, the band, the party band from Newfoundland, the kitchen party band. I mean, there was certainly no social taboo about drinking when it came to our brand of entertainment. Like it was the same. It was one of the same. It was what you did. And we were, started on campuses and then moved into hockey rinks and stuff. And it was always a big party, and it always involved a lot of alcohol. So just from an alcoholic's perspective, there was no shortage of supply, and certainly no breaks were ever applied.
And the way that you've written this book is you have chapters. Séan, you have a chapter, and then Andrea, you have a chapter. Why did you decide to approach the book this way in telling both your stories in one book?
Well, it originally started just Séan's book, actually. He had been writing it for about a year, and he was showing it to me and a friend of ours, Matt. And there was one particular incident in the book that I kind of latched onto, and I said, I have written down in my journal this exact day, and I have verbatim what had happened.
What day was
Séan,
that?
It was the night that he actually stopped drinking, the 11th of November. Is that right? November 11th, 2011.
Not November 9th.
2011, sorry. And
I count every day. Every day counts.
As you should. And I think when Séan read that, it kind of turned instead of looking inward, he finally got to see that his true impact on what had happened not just to him, but to all of us. And he was then determined to have me be a voice. And I was all too happy to put my voice to it as somebody who is a family member of somebody going through addiction and recovery and everything like that.
Yeah, it felt to me when I'd written the book, the first year I wrote the book, and when I read it back, it was good and everything, but it didn't really dig deep enough. I wasn't aware of how much I missed, and of course I wasn't sober, but Andrea was. And even though those sections don't paint me in a particularly positive light, for the most part, they were true. And if you're going to tell the truth, which is what we set out to do, then you might as well tell it all. And I just really believe that it became more of a conversation. It almost read like an victim impact statement in some ways, and which are quite powerful things to read. So we hope that it, we went the extra mile, literally, and dug deeper. And it hurt a bit, but I think that what needs to be done for real recovery to take place. That's the work that needs to be done.
And not to take away from the seriousness of what you just said, because in the book too, you do, like you said that you found out how she was feeling, because a lot of the times you blacked out and you didn't remember. And the next day you'd wake up and be like, hey, what's up? And she's like, what's up? Do you remember what happened last night? There's parts of the book, you both talk about how you met, and it was kind of like, I guess it's like you just knew that this person was the person for you. But reading the book, is there anything else that you found out that you might not have known before from the other person, about the other person?
I learned a fair bit about where Andrea came from as a person. I'd known some of the things about her family, but I didn't know. And she got to speak to it in the book in a very detailed way, and it explains a lot to me. So it was useful. It was helpful to me. I feel like I got to know her a little better, if that's even possible at this point.
And Andrea,
did you learn anything about me?
I don't know that I learned anything new. I learned, like Sean said about me, I learned about his history, his family history, a lot more. I mean, I'd heard about it and we'd kind of gone in circles about it, but I hadn't really seen it in a timeline. And it was fascinating to me how entrenched the Catholic religion is and was in his family. And it was something I had never even considered, actually.
Well, you both grew up in homes where things were swept under the rug. Andrea, you actually write that your mom made Everything Is Fine an art form. And the same with you, Sean. Like Andrea said, your family had a lot of secrets going back generations. Your father didn't want you to be an altar boy, but never said exactly why. Finding out these things about each other and living through those things, what impact did that have on each of you to be able to open up in such a way where you did pull up the rug? Andrea?
Well, I think for me, it allowed me to get way closer to Sean. And I know we kind of joke about, like, really, how close can we get? We've been in quarantine now for a year and a half.
We're practicing physical distancing at home.
But I mean, truly, and as a parent and as a partner, you don't necessarily get into all of these nooks and crannies, and it's just really allowed me to become more of a friend to him and find a friend in him for me, because, like my best girlfriends now, he knows it all. He knows everything. There's no curtain behind, the wizard. It's here's what it is. Here's me, all the dirt and all the cracks and all the gross parts. And, I think because of that, we've been able to grow a lot closer and a lot more in our friendship. That's what it is for me.
Yeah, and I mean, I think from my end, it's just Andrea's been obviously really good about understanding and very patient and compassionate towards me. And sometimes as an addict, you have trust issues, and as a survivor of sexual abuse, you have serious trust issues, and you start to question, like, well, do you really? Like, are you just saying that? But when you talk to someone who's also experienced, the burden of secrecy in their lives, and the covering under the rug and suffering, because of your family relationships, it gives me a currency. Like, no, she really gets it. She knows what I'm talking about, and that helps a lot. It's not just because she loves me; it's because she knows what I'm going through.
And just to pick up on what Sean is saying about your past, Andrea, you write that you played a role in both these men's addictions, meaning your father and Sean. What can you expand on that sentence?
Yeah, it's interesting. I would never have described my relationship with either one of them like that until I wrote this book. But I was 100% an enabler. I think it probably started when I was really little, just wanting to make my dad happy. I don't know if all little girls have that desire to please their parent, or children have that desire to please their parent, but I just wanted to, make everything fine. I saw my mom doing it, just placate, make everything fine. And then when I got older, I could drink with him, and excuse his behavior, because as I write in the book, if he wasn't fine, then I probably wasn't either, in terms of how much we were drinking. And that really just trained me on what I could and should accept from a partner. And to get out of that headspace, I had to have been forced out of that headspace. And the night that I gave Sean the ultimatum, that is what forced me out of that headspace of what's acceptable and what's not acceptable. But certainly living with my dad, who had a drinking problem, I actually don't think he has it anymore, but who had a drinking problem, trained me in a way to be complicit and an enabler in Sean's drinking.
Well, once
Sean,
you always have a drinking problem. I think once you have one, they don't tend to wear out.
True.
But I mean, we were drinking buddies at the beginning.
100%.
We met at a bar.
Sean, hearing Andrea say that she was an enabler, what goes through your mind when she does say that?
Well, it's great. I just blame everything on Andrea. It's her fault.
Well, you have it on tape now.
She drove me to drink, obviously.
Well, there's a lot of sadness in that statement, right?
Yeah, and sometimes humor is a great reflex as well. So that helps sometimes. But yeah, I mean, we were both suffering from opposite sides of a painful fence in some ways, and
Well put.
I don't know that I've been an enabler in that way, but I know that alcoholics and drug addicts are drawn to enablers, and I think enablers are drawn to addicts. So it's kind of in some ways we were lucky to find each other, in some negative ways at the beginning, but once we've come to accept these traits in ourselves, I know I'm an addict and I always will be, and Andrea is a pleasing person or tries to help. But when you have that that's a responsibility that you kind of have to make sure you do the right things. There's the road to hell is paved with the best intentions, is a saying. And we were lucky enough to be able to correct those behaviors, I think, or at least become conscious of them, because we're not perfect. Obviously, no one is. But we've learned to take a breath and a step and examine our actions. And in my case, I try to start with the thought process. I overthink a lot of things, and sometimes I catch myself just in time to avoid a mistake, which I think that's an evolution.
Yeah.
Sean, for most of your life, you had a painful secret. You didn't tell your mother or your father, and you even kept it from Andrea. What was that secret?
I was sexually assaulted by my priest when I was a teenager, and he poured my first drink, and drinking was how I chose to cope with it and keep it a secret. And again, in the book, we talk about how indoctrinated my family was for generations by the church. And people, it was just revealing that secret was just not even an option for me at the time. As a teenager, I wasn't equipped to even think about it. And the acceptance of that truth in my community would not have been quick or real, or it would have just gone nowhere. So I kept it a secret, and I drank and used drugs to cope, and it set me on my lifetime path of addiction, and it wasn't until I sobered up that I started to question why I drank in the first place, and then did the work and dug and faced it myself. And if I hadn't done that, that was painful. If I hadn't done that, I wouldn't be sober.
This happened when this priest took you on a trip to Rome. At the time, the Catholic Church was an integral part of your life in Newfoundland. It defined you and how others saw you. After what the priest did to you, how did you see your place in the world?
The world just fell out from under me. It was all everything I believed in was gone. I mean, I was a believer too. I was fully indoctrinated into the Catholic faith, and I certainly, and that starts at this was a man who was my best friend, who was my parish priest, my confessor. He had the power to forgive my sins, the keys to heaven and hell. And in retrospect now, that's way too much power to give to someone, anyone, ever. And so I was completely lost, and I just tried to continue on like this, pretend it didn't happen. And as many survivors do. But you just never get better that way. It just, the pain seeks an anesthetic. And in my case, it was drugs and alcohol. And I'm just lucky I'm alive because of that. Because I survived 35 years of severe alcoholism. And it was only the truth that, and dealing with that truth and accepting what happened to me with all the shame and the guilt and the pain, that I was able to recover in a meaningful way. And I've been sober now 9 years almost. And, it's still painful, but I'm much stronger, and I'm stronger enough now without those crutches to live with that acceptance, that truth.
Congratulations on the 9 years. We're very glad that you're here. Reading your book and feeling the torment that you went through, because this person had been able to insert themselves into your family's life to the point where your own father gave him a key to the house. So it was an individual that you couldn't even escape from, even after the fact.
Yeah, no, he was he was a very popular priest, but priests were the rock stars in our community. They were, you wanted to be in their favor. But he charmed everybody in our house, and my dad meant nothing by it. It was just, he became like a member of the family. He was given a key because he came so often. And whenever it was an open door policy, in Newfoundland, our doors were seldom locked, to be honest. But yeah, he had full access, complete access, complete trust, very quickly. Because
Andrea, when you met Sean, you had conversations where something, maybe like the hair on the back of your neck, kind of rose up, and you had an idea that something might have happened to him. But you yourself, with Sean, you actually never discussed, you didn't find out from him what happened to him. Sean actually shared his secret, unburdened his secret at an addiction recovery event. What was it like for you finding out that way?
Well, I remember that the London Recovery Breakfast, they were live tweeting it, and it was his first speech. So I was really interested in how it was going to go, because we had worked on it. And I honestly, Nam, I did not expect him to disclose anything other than talk about his alcoholism and his recovery as it was going. So when he did, I honestly, my reaction, it was so visceral. I was sobbing and happy and scared and terrified and joyous and all these different reactions, just to see that he was able to say those words and that he actually said those words. And, it was almost as if I could feel his relief. I couldn't, obviously, because he was still speaking, and I didn't talk to him until a couple hours after, but I can't describe to you, if I felt that amount of relief, I was like, if I'm feeling this, he must be feeling 10 times lighter than what I'm feeling. And it was a really emotional moment for me that he could escape out from under that heavy, heavy weight. And I just felt like, okay, we're starting now.
And Sean, at this event, you actually had a different speech prepared. What made you decide basically it was the very last second, to disclose something that you had held so close to your own heart that your wife didn't even know?
Well, I mean, I've learned that when you think something is too difficult to do, when you see someone actually do it, There's no better motivation. And in my case, there's a young man, a friend of mine, Paulie O'Byrne, his name is. He's back in London now working with addictions. Lovely fellow. And he was going to speak a few minutes. He was also a survivor of sexual assault. And I didn't know Paulie at the time, but he spoke just in front of me, literally right in front of me. And he got up and he spoke for 5 minutes and he just told the truth. And in that 5 minutes, he told how he was sexually assaulted and how that led to his addiction. And, he was in recovery for about a year at that point. But he was so honest and so frank, and it really moved me. And when he bore his soul like that, he didn't catch fire. He didn't blow up. He survived it right in front of me. He walked down and sat down next to me at a table. And I realized he gave me this gift. He showed me that it can be done. It's difficult, but it can be done. And honestly, when he sat down next to me, he looked so much stronger. He looked like he was better off for it. And I was motivated. So I figured if he can do it, I can do it. And that's why when I go to speaking events now and do my musical keynotes at conferences and even in my concerts, well, I'm always a bearer of my truth, because I know it encourages people to stop being too afraid to face their own. If they can see someone do it, they know they can. It's just leading by example in some ways, and that's given me a good sense of purpose. But I owe Paulie O'Byrne quite a bit for opening my heart that day.
I think in a way you kind of found a different community. You had lost one community, and then at that event you gained another one. You've said that music is your religion, and a few minutes you said stronger. And I want to show you a clip of this song of yours, Stronger, and then we'll talk some more. Tony, could you please roll?
That I am stronger, better every day. I am stronger, and I've got something to say. I am pretty good, brighter than the sea. I am stronger than I ever used to be.
How has
There's a
music
sing along there. You're supposed to sing that part.
I was doing my voice. I'm one of those people that thinks they sound good in the shower alone. That's it.
Me too.
But music brought you together. I think when you met her, you played Redemption Song on the guitar, which is one of my all-time favorite songs. But
Nice.
during this healing process, Sean, how has music helped you to heal?
It's for me, it's the music is my religion. If religion is supposed to help you deal with difficult situations, if religion is when you're wrestling with the reasons for existence, or looking for condolence in grief and all these painful parts of our lives, the questions we can't answer. For me, that's what music really is. And it's far more effective than the sets of rules and regulations and prayers and all this kind of stuff, because it doesn't exact those kind of regulations, systems of belief. Music is unregulated, but very effective at dealing with those difficult problems that we will all experience in our lives. We will all experience suffering in our lives. And I would choose my guitar over any church any day. And that's just what I believe now, because it helps. It genuinely helps. And even if it's a sad song, it always lifts my spirit. The physical act of singing always makes me feel better. If I'm feeling depressed, or I'm feeling sick, it's real medicine. I believe music is real medicine. And what Bob Marley said, one good thing about music, when it hits you, you feel no pain.
Yeah.
And it does no harm at the very least, and it does some good. So I'm a huge advocate for music is medicine. And I'm going to sing a Bob Marley song today, for sure now.
This book, you talk about your own individual experiences. And I truly believe it's one of those books that's going to help so many people. But along the way, your stories are not independent of other people. So how did you balance writing a book that was honest to your experiences, but one where the revelations maybe hurt other people close to you? Andrea?
Well, I think I think we both treaded pretty gingerly at first. When I got involved in the book, I told Sean I was going to speak my truth and it, all the ugly parts and all the great parts. And I committed to that. And as such, I had to talk to my dad and talk to my sister and talk to the people who were integral in my story, and not ask them for permission, but say, this is what I wrote, and this is the truth as it happened to me, and how I remember it. And I was real lucky because they were all really supportive, even my father, which I was really concerned about, because that in the book was the very first time I had actually ever called him an alcoholic. So I was very concerned with his reaction. And he has, to this day, been nothing but proud of my ability to say my truth and to hopefully help people.
Yeah, true. When truth comes out, it's not always welcome. And habits, when you're in our family's case, the truth was always a fiend. That was to be avoided in many cases, in many different ways in my upbringing. And I'm still trying to figure a lot of it out, but it's usually not a welcome thing. Yeah, it's true, but let's move on. Let's not talk about it. And so when you get into business of doing that work, to manage people's expectations, don't just because you do that work and you dig deep and you try to help yourself. Many people might be reluctant to go down that path, and they may not be ready.
Yeah.
So you just got to give people their space and respect them. Everyone, has their own time to do that or not, and it's a decision. For me, it was the decision to help myself, and just because. Even in regards to the band, just because I changed my behavior didn't mean that everything else changed.
Yeah.
I was the one who changed. And cultures are hard things to break, to change.
I know you said that you wrote this book to help yourself, but I truly believe it is going to help so many other people. We thank you for your time, and we wish you much continued success. Thank you so much for being on the show. Thank you, Andrea. Thank you, Sean.
Thank you.
Coming up on the agenda in the summer.
Well, I don't think it was any one particular thing that happened at 50. I think it's the accumulation of knowledge, of wisdom, of time, of experiences. The human brain learns how to adapt and how to respond. The way you navigate a situation at 55 is much different than you navigate at 25. That's just time. But yeah, I keep telling younger people that I meet now, I'm like, listen, you're not even going to become a person until you turn 45.
And that is tonight's agenda in the summer. I'm Nam Kiwanuka. Thanks for watching TVO and for joining us online at tvo.org. And we'll see you again next time.
The Agenda in the Summer with Nam Kiwanuka is made possible through generous philanthropic contributions from viewers like you. Thank you for supporting TVO's journalism.